Life and Intimacy Guru. Welcome to Ask the Life and Intimacy Guru, a calm and thoughtful space where we talk about love, attraction, emotional closeness, dating, marriage, desire, and the hidden psychology of human connection. Today's episode asks a question almost everyone has wondered at some point. Can a first date predict real chemistry? Can you really tell, in one meeting, whether someone has romantic potential? Or are first impressions too unreliable to trust? Maybe you have lived this. Someone looks perfect on paper. Good job, good family, good manners, attractive, educated, polite, stable. Your friends say, this person is perfect for you. But when you sit across from them, something feels flat. The conversation is fine. They are not rude. They are not wrong. But you feel nothing. No curiosity. No emotional pull, no natural rhythm, no feeling of, I want to know more. Then another time, you meet someone who is not exactly your usual type. Maybe they are not perfect on paper. Maybe they do not check every box, but the conversation flows. You laugh naturally. You feel relaxed. You feel seen. There is a rhythm between you. Not necessarily fireworks, but aliveness. So what should you trust? The checklist, the spark, the calm feeling, the body's response, or the slow discovery over time? Let us begin with a situation many people will recognize. A woman writes, "My friend arranged a blind date for me. On paper, he was exactly the kind of man I thought I should want. He was stable, respectful, educated, and kind. He asked good questions, dressed well, and seemed serious about life. But during the date, I felt emotionally blank. I was polite, but I did not feel curious. I did not feel drawn to him. I kept thinking, he is good, so why don't I feel anything?" A few weeks later, I met someone else at a work event. He was not what I imagined as my ideal partner, but the conversation felt easy. We laughed. He listened carefully. I felt comfortable, but also interested. It felt like we were naturally in sync. Now I am confused. Should I trust first date chemistry? Or should I choose the person who makes logical sense? Can a first date really predict whether a relationship has potential? This is a beautiful question. And it is also a very modern one. Because today, dating often begins with information, profiles, photos, bios, education, career, height, location, lifestyle, interests, family background, compatibility questions. Apps and introductions make us believe that love can be filtered, like a shopping list. But human chemistry is not only a checklist, it is an interaction. It is what happens when two nervous systems meet. It is how two people listen, how they respond, how conversation moves, how safe you feel, how curious you become, how much you can be yourself. And sometimes, the person who looks perfect in theory does not create connection in real life. That does not make them bad. It simply means compatibility is not only about qualities. It is about the relationship between qualities. A person can be kind, intelligent, attractive, and stable, but still not be your person. Another person may not match your imagined checklist perfectly, but they may create warmth, ease, and curiosity that matter deeply. Now, we should be careful. A first date cannot predict everything. It cannot tell you whether someone will be loyal for 10 years. It cannot tell you how they handle conflict. It cannot tell you how they behave under stress. It cannot tell you how they treat you when life becomes difficult. It cannot tell you whether they are emotionally mature in every situation. But a first date can reveal something important. It can reveal how you feel in someone's presence. Not only what you think about them, how you feel around them. Do you feel tense? Do you feel judged? Do you feel like you are performing? Do you feel bored? Do you feel rushed? Do you feel safe? Do you feel curious? Do you feel respected? Do you feel more like yourself? This matters, because attraction is not only visual. It is also relational. It is shaped by attention, emotional rhythm, shared humor, body language, tone of voice, timing, and the feeling that the other person is genuinely present. Research on speed dating has shown that first impressions can carry useful information. Not perfect information, but useful information. People respond not only to general attractiveness or status, but also to a unique sense of fit with a particular person. That unique feeling is important. It is the difference between saying, "This person is impressive," and saying, "I feel something with this person." Those are not the same. Many people confuse admiration with chemistry. They think, "This person is good on paper, so I should want them." But desire does not always obey logic. Connection does not always follow a resume. Sometimes your mind says yes, but your body says no. Sometimes your checklist says perfect, but your emotional self feels absent. And sometimes, someone who is not your usual type creates a surprising sense of ease. That is why first dates are so interesting. They bring theory into contact with reality. Before the date, you are evaluating a profile. During the date, you are experiencing a person. Those are completely different things. Now, let us talk about the word chemistry. Many people think chemistry means fireworks, instant attraction, butterflies, intense excitement. But real chemistry can be much quieter than that. Sometimes chemistry feels like laughter. Sometimes it feels like calm. Sometimes it feels like curiosity. Sometimes it feels like safety. Sometimes it feels like the conversation has no hard edges. Sometimes it feels like you are not trying so hard. Sometimes it feels like your nervous system can breathe. Fireworks are not always a sign of compatibility. Sometimes fireworks are excitement. Sometimes they are anxiety. Sometimes they are uncertainty. Sometimes they are the thrill of being chosen by someone unpredictable. So do not ask only, "Did I feel a spark?" Ask a better question. What kind of spark did I feel? Was it warm? Was it respectful? Was it mutual? Was it grounded? Was it playful? Was it calm and alive? Or was it nervous, confusing, and unstable? Not every intense feeling is healthy chemistry. And not every calm feeling means there is no attraction. This is where many people make mistakes. Some reject good people too quickly because there were no fireworks in the first 5 minutes. Others ignore discomfort because the person looks perfect on paper. Both extremes can be misleading. So here is a more mature way to evaluate a first date. After the date, ask yourself 5 questions. Question 1. Did I feel respected? This is the foundation. Not impressed, not entertained, respected. Did they listen? Did they interrupt constantly? Did they ask questions? Did they show basic kindness? Did they treat other people respectfully? Without respect, chemistry is not enough. Question 2. Did I feel like myself? Some people make you feel like you need to perform. You become overly polished, overly careful, overly agreeable. You start managing your personality. That is important information. A good first date does not require you to become someone else. Question 3. Was there curiosity? Not obsession. Not instant love. Curiosity. Did you want to know more? Did the conversation open doors? Did you feel interested in their mind, their story, their way of seeing life? Curiosity is one of the healthiest early signs. Question 4. Was there emotional rhythm? This means the conversation did not feel like an interview. It had movement. You spoke. They listened. They spoke. You listened. There was give and take. Maybe laughter? Maybe pauses that did not feel awkward? Maybe a sense that you were both present. Research on nonverbal synchrony suggests that subtle coordination between people, even in movement and rhythm, can relate to romantic interest. In simple words, sometimes connection is felt before it is fully explained. Question 5. Would I want a second conversation? Not a wedding, not a life plan, just a second conversation. This is very important. A first date does not need to answer, "Is this my future partner?" It only needs to answer, "Is there enough here to explore further?" That removes pressure. Now let us return to the woman's question. She asks, should I trust chemistry or choose the person who makes logical sense? My answer is this. Do not choose only chemistry, and do not choose only logic. Choose respectful curiosity. Chemistry without character can become chaos. Logic without aliveness can become emotional emptiness. The goal is not to find someone who only excites you. And it is not to force yourself towards someone who looks correct, but feels wrong. The goal is to notice where there is both safety and aliveness, both respect and interest, both emotional ease and genuine curiosity. The best early sign is not always fireworks. It is often the feeling, I felt comfortable, and I want to know more. That is a very underrated kind of chemistry. Now, what about the person who is perfect on paper but feels emotionally flat? Do not be cruel. Do not shame yourself. And do not shame them. You can simply say, they are a good person, but I do not feel the connection I would need to continue romantically. That is allowed. You are not obligated to date someone simply because they are good. Goodness is essential. But goodness alone is not romantic compatibility. At the same time, if someone is kind, respectful, and the conversation was pleasant but not electric, consider whether a second date is worth exploring. Sometimes attraction grows, especially if the first date was awkward, rushed, or too formal. A first date can be affected by nerves, bad timing, work stress, a noisy restaurant, pressure, shyness, social anxiety, or unrealistic expectations. So if there was respect, warmth, and some curiosity, a second date may be wise. But if there was no curiosity, no ease, no emotional interest, and you felt relief when it ended, that is also information. Do not force attraction as a moral duty. Now let us discuss blind dating. Blind dating is interesting because it removes some of the illusion of over-selection. On dating apps, we often think we know someone because we saw photos and read a few lines. But a blind date reminds us that chemistry cannot be fully predicted before interaction. You may be surprised by who feels easy. You may be surprised by who feels wrong. You may discover that your type is too narrow, or that your checklist is protecting you from real vulnerability. Sometimes people say, I want someone ambitious, confident, and exciting. But when they meet that person, they feel emotionally unsafe. Sometimes they say, I want someone calm and kind. But when they meet calm and kind, they call it boring. This is why dating is not only about choosing others, it is also about understanding yourself. What do you confuse with chemistry? Do you confuse anxiety with attraction? Do you confuse unpredictability with passion? Do you confuse validation with love? Do you confuse calmness with boredom? Do you reject healthy connection because it does not feel dramatic? These are powerful questions, because sometimes the first date is not only showing you the other person, it is showing you your own relationship patterns. Now let us talk about the body. Your body gives signals on a date, but those signals need interpretation. A racing heart does not always mean love. It may mean excitement. It may mean fear. It may mean pressure. It may mean attraction. It may mean your nervous system is activated. A calm body does not always mean no chemistry. It may mean safety. It may mean ease. It may mean emotional comfort. It may mean you are not used to stable people. So instead of asking, what did my body feel? Ask, what did my body feel safe enough to do? Could I breathe normally? Could I speak naturally? Could I laugh? Could I disagree gently? Could I be honest? Could I relax? Could I stay present? That tells you a lot. Because a healthy relationship is not only about intensity, it is also about regulation. The person who makes you feel intensely activated may not always be the person who can build a stable bond with you. And the person who makes your nervous system feel calm may be more valuable than you realize. Now, can first date chemistry predict long-term love? Only partly. First date chemistry can open the door, but it cannot build the house. Long-term love needs more than chemistry. It needs consistency, respect, emotional maturity, shared values, conflict repair, kindness, trust, reliability, humor, physical and emotional safety, the ability to talk about difficult things, the ability to apologize, the ability to grow. So if you feel chemistry, enjoy it. But do not worship it. Chemistry is a signal, not a guarantee. And if you do not feel instant chemistry, do not panic. Look for warmth, curiosity, and comfort. Some connections need a little time. But do not ignore complete emotional flatness either. Your lack of interest is also information. So here is a practical first date rule. Do not ask, "Is this my soulmate?" Ask, "Was there enough respect, ease, and curiosity for one more conversation?" That is a healthier question. It keeps you open, but not desperate, hopeful, but not naive, discerning, but not cynical. Now let us give the woman in today's question a clear answer. The man who looked perfect on paper may be a good person, but not necessarily her romantic match. The man from the work event may not check every box, but the sense of ease and curiosity deserves attention. She should not confuse instant comfort with destiny, but she should not dismiss it either. A wise approach would be, go slowly, observe consistency, notice how you feel after each interaction. Look for respect, look for emotional maturity, look for values, look for how he handles small disagreements. Look for whether the connection becomes clearer over time. Not every spark deserves a relationship, but every genuine sense of safe curiosity deserves attention. That is the balance. So here is today's deeper lesson. A first date cannot predict the whole future, but it can reveal the beginning of a pattern. It can show whether conversation flows, whether respect is present, whether curiosity exists, whether your body feels safe, whether there is mutual attention, whether you feel like yourself, and whether the connection deserves a second meeting. Chemistry is not only appearance, it is not only status, it is not only a checklist, it is the living interaction between two people. It is rhythm, attention, warmth, curiosity, ease, respect, and sometimes a quiet sense of aliveness. So, to anyone preparing for a first date, blind date, or new connection, do not go only to impress. Go to observe. Do not go only to be chosen. Go to notice how you feel.